Now, what would you say to someone who might be entering their late 20s and they haven't figured it out yet, but then now they're in the mindset of, oh, money is more important? Because as people get older, their perspective changes, right? Because they start to get away from finding what they love
Yeah.
versus focusing more on money.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, money is important, right? We all need a certain amount of income,
Yeah, yeah,
but doing there are jobs that that pay well, but they're not very rewarding. I mean, I know a lot of recent graduates will go into finance, go into banking and all that, and then I talk to them a few years later and they're very unhappy.
yeah,
Usually they change jobs, right? That's why I said, it's not a straight line. They think it's going to be a straight line,
yeah,
but then they find out, wait
yeah,
a minute, the money's great, but I'm unhappy. And so I'd rather take a lower paying job that provided, the kinds of things that I really want in my life. This job is so demanding. Yes, it's high paying, but I'm never going to have a family. I'm never going to have, time to travel. And those are important to me. And then they change their, careers. So,
hmm
so, um, you know, I look, if you are doing your job just for the money,
hmm
then the question I would ask myself is, can I make a good amount of money and do something that's rewarding for me? And I'll bet you could, but you just don't know about it. And so
yeah,
that is the motivation for you to go look, right? If
hmm
you're making a lot of money and you're slightly unhappy or moderately unhappy, well, can you make a lot of money and be happy?
yeah.
And that's the question I would ask myself. And then I'd go seek out those positions where you can make the money and be happy.
Yeah, got it. So I guess it really comes down to viewing it as a long-term thing,
Yeah.
right? Rather than just saying, "Oh, it's time to focus on money," but like people sometimes forget to understand that they have like in general, you have another like 60, 70 years ahead of you.
That's
And
right.
if you're just rotting in something that's not meaningful, I mean, you're going to be miserable because work is a huge part of life, right? It's a huge part of life.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
and think about this too. We were on the athletes, but that came
Yeah.
to mind when you were talking about this. Is most athletes, their careers are over, in really young to mid adulthood. So
Yeah.
these professional athletes, they can't play after 35, 40 at
That's right.
maximum, and
Mhm.
then they have a whole career. And so what you want to look at is, well, what do those people do? And some of them are unhappy. They're only thinking about the past and not about the future. But a
Yeah.
lot of them go on to really great things. We had a whole conference here of people who'd worked in professional sports who went into other leadership positions. Some of them were venture capitalists. Some
Yeah.
of them went into education, and they were all, successful in another sector. Heck,
Yeah.
one of the guys was that we had at that conference. This was years ago. Jack Kemp ran for
Mhm.
vice president of the United States. He didn't win,
Oh,
but he
okay.
was a professional football player who became a
Yeah.
politician, successful politician.
Yeah.
He was a congressman.
Yeah. Kobe Bryant is a really good example of that too. I mean, the most seamless transition coming from an extreme obsession towards basketball, seamless transition into
I wrote a
storytelling and so
blog
on.
post about Kobe when he
Did you?
retired. When he retired,
Oh,
yeah,
no way.
because I thought he did retirement exactly the way you want to do retirement.
Perfectly. Yeah.
Fortunately, he had this tremendous future ahead of him,
Yeah.
and then died in a helicopter crash.
Yeah.
But he knew how to retire. He knew why he was, he was a, So for anybody who wants an example, the older people who are thinking about retirement, and
Yeah.
that's important too to think about,
Seamless transitions and so on. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
because it's hard for some people. Some people
Yeah.
retire and they're miserable, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely.